Danny, you want to introduce the program?
Yeah, Bonnie Muggenberg is going to talk about our 7th and 8th grade reading program at the middle school, so I'll let her take it away.
Thanks. I'm obviously Bonnie Muggenberg, and I teach 7th and 8th grade reading in the middle school. Sorry, you guys, I'm going to shove you back there. I just want to go through a couple things we do real quick. The goal, I'm going to just start with 7th grade first. Our goal in the 7th grade reading class is to teach students why reading is important and give them strategies on how to comprehend. Comprehension is the big item that we are focusing on. For the most part, 7th graders know how to pronounce words by the time they get to me, so that doesn't really seem to be the issue. So what we really need to get them doing is thinking about what they're reading so that they are understanding what they're reading. We spend a lot of time at the beginning of the 7th grade year focusing on why they should be good readers. And there's a book called Reasons to Read that I base a lot of this on. The first reason is reading is rewarding. It brings pleasure and knowledge, and we want our kids to know that we want them to appreciate how beautiful reading can be and how important it is in their life. The second one is it builds a mature vocabulary. They need to have a mature vocabulary as they go out into college, into the work world. And the better reader you are, obviously the better vocabulary you have. Here's an obvious one. It makes you smarter. Studies show that the more you read, the longer you read in your lifetime, the more active you keep your brain. You know, there's all kinds of studies on Alzheimer's and all of that, but obviously the more you do it, the better you are. It prepares you for the world of work. We're doing a lot of focusing on 21st century learning, and what you needed to be able to read in the workforce 20 years ago is obviously different than what you need to be able to read now. It's financially rewarding. We do a lot of lessons to show them just how much earning potential someone who reads at this level has versus someone who can read at this level. It opens the door to college and beyond. The 3 critical things that kids need to get into college right now is ACT, SAT, and a lot of times there's a writing essay now to get into colleges. So there again, reading will help them with that. And it arms you against oppression. Anything from reading a phone bill to insurance to reading an advertisement. You know, basically, if you can understand what you read, you won't be taken advantage of. So we spend a lot of time at the beginning of the year focusing on that. Then we go into the how. And the first strategy, what we call them, we have strategies that we focus on. And the first strategy is called monitoring comprehension. And basically, all that is keeping track of your thinking. People just, you know, I tell the kids, you can read all you want. You may be reading beautifully, but if you're not thinking while you're reading, you're not getting anything out of it. So we keep track of every single thought that we have as we read. And this is really tedious and difficult for the kids because it's just a natural thing for some readers to do. But when you have to stop and write down every thought you have while you read something, it's hard. It's hard work. So they have to be able to notice when it makes sense and when it doesn't. A lot of times kids will just keep on reading because they have to get it done. And then the fix-it strategies. We teach them different strategies to use when they lose their way, especially in nonfiction books, textbooks, things like that, that they need to be able to figure out what to do when they come across something they don't understand. The next one is infer meaning. Inferring involves drawing conclusions that are not explicitly stated in the text. Basically, it's what I call it reading between the lines. The author's not going to come out and tell you every little single thing. You have to figure out what they're trying to say. And this is an equation that we teach the kids. They need to take their background knowledge, add it with the text clues that they read, and then come up with an educated guess about what the author's trying to say. And then, like I said, we're reading between the lines. The next strategy we teach is determining importance. We focus on important information and merge it with what we already know. We have to sort and sift the important from the interesting, the important from the garbage, I guess, the fluff they call it, that's in what we read, and coming up with main ideas as to what we're reading. and then looking for details that support what that main idea is. Oops, yeah, go on again here. Here is the determining, guys, did I miss it? We're stuck. Next one, summarizing and synthesizing. This is the most difficult one. This one, we start towards the end of 7th grade, and we do it all the way through 8th grade also. Basically, it is seeing the bigger picture as they read, putting together what they already know with the new information to come up with a clearer understanding of what it is they're reading. That one, like I said, is very, very difficult. We struggle with that. And on ITBS and a lot of the standardized testings, that's what they're questioning on. Here's a typical week in my 7th grade classroom. On Monday, I have we all are as a whole group lesson, and I do a think aloud. That means I literally think out loud to the kids. I stand up here and I read something and I just think out loud. I tell them every thought I'm having, every question I'm having, if I get stuck, all of that. I demonstrate it. Yeah?
May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why do you do the think aloud? Why is that powerful?
Well, it's very explicit. And they can see exactly what I'm doing because I'm considered the good reader. You know?
Oh, exactly.
So, I mean, yeah, they need to see what it looks like. So on Monday, I do it. Like I said, I literally think out loud to them. Then as a whole group or small groups, we practice it together. Then by the end of the week, it's you do, where they hopefully then, and you know, can go down and do it independently. It's called scaffolding, basically, is what that's called. So then on Tuesday and Thursday, we're divided up into 3 groups. I do have my lower readers and my at grade level readers, and then my above grade level readers, or my more independent readers. And we rotate to 3 different tables in the room on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. On Tuesdays, the lower readers and the middle readers come to me at the teacher table, and we review what I did on Monday. We do it again together. While the independent table, or the independent group, is over at what's called the strategy table. They're practicing independently what I had taught them the day before. Then they move on to the journal table. And this is where they have to write. We have to write every week about the strategy, how it works, why it's useful. We use a variety of different writing to do that, diary entries, different kinds of assessments to see that, and that's how I know that they know what we're doing. The lower group, and I hate to say it that way, but the lower group that sees me more during the week than the independent group, if that makes sense. They see me twice independently. The middle group sees me once extra, and the upper group, we don't do the first one. We go over the strategy in their journal. Does that make sense? You can ask me questions as I'm going here. Okay, so that's how that looks. Then on Fridays, this is our probing day, I guess is what I call it. Each Friday we go into the computer lab and we get on to what is called the Skills Iowa program. It's provided by the Department of Ed and it is aligned with Iowa Core. Basically, every week I give them a different type of writing or passage. There will be literary, then there will be science, there will be social studies, there's functional documents, different types of writing that they are assessed on. And it's a really neat program, and sometime maybe someone could show all of that to you, because it's a great tool for seeing exactly what skill the kids are good at, what they need to work on. So we use it a lot to look at curriculum, student interventions, and skill deficits. So that's what we do on Friday. Any question about 7th grade before going to 8th grade? Okay, 8th grade. Now hopefully they learned all those strategies I taught them in 7th grade. Assuming. However, we just go into those same strategies deeper, and we go into them deeper, but they should have a basic knowledge of those. Again, our focus is to improve comprehension, We spend a lot of time on the elements of literature, conflict, characters, plot, all of that, because I know they need that next year as ninth graders. We also interpret literature, and we really work on communicating their knowledge of literature with others. We spend the entire first quarter learning how to do book clubs, and I'm going to show you an example of a book club here in a little bit. Working with groups, communicating what they know with each other. And there again, that would kind of go along with that Iowa core and that 21st century learning where, you know, the hard skill is the reading, the soft skill is the working with other people and communicating what they know. And then obviously we spend, towards the end of the year, we'll spend a lot of time on real world reading, work-related type reading, reading things they don't see. You know, like I said earlier with the phone bill, how many of our kids have ever even looked at the phone bill? And they're the ones with the cell phones. And I don't even know that they understand all the extra.
Sure adults do.
Yeah, I know. Half the time I'm trying to figure it out. Now, how do I do this in my 8th grade? We use literature, and when I say that, we use novels. It's a literature-based curriculum. Most of the time, I'm not going to say all the time, but most of the time the kids choose what they want to read. I'll give them an option of 4 or 5 books, which is usually based around a theme. Like right now, one of my sections is studying the Holocaust. So I've got 4 or 5 books going regarding the Holocaust. They choose what they want at their level. I can't say never. Very seldom do I have someone pick a book just because their friend did. They pick what they know they can read and what they would enjoy. So that solves a lot of problems right there. We try to use the higher level thinking skills within our book clubs, and I'll show you that a little bit later. Here's a typical week in my 8th grade room. Same thing on Monday. It's a whole group lesson. I'll go over a strategy. We'll go over what we're going to focus on for the week within our novels. I'll show them what I want explicitly, same way. It's the same thing. It's exactly the same setup. On Tuesday and Wednesday, this is definitely more student-centered than mine, than teacher-centered or led. The kids have a lot of time to read their assigned literature, use their strategies. I give them activities they have to do, and then they have to complete a book club assignment. And book club is due every Thursday. And I'll show you that assignment, I think, on the next slide. But this is definitely, your independent workers are great. Your reluctant learners, you really have to push them. But a lot of time is given for them to work on that. Okay, so here's an example of my book club assignment. They have 4 things that they have to do. The first thing they have to do in their reading is they have to pick a passage that they like. A line, a word, a sentence, a paragraph, I don't care. What did they like? Maybe they hated it, it was stupid, it didn't make sense. Maybe it made them wonder about something. They have to tell me what it is and why. In full explanation, not just a couple sentences. The next one is reactions or connections. This is what are your feelings and responses. Did it remind you of anything? Did it make you think of anything happening? Craft. This one, this takes a lot. What did you notice about the style, language, point of view, literary devices, or structure that the author used to create the story? This is a lot of, this one's pretty hard for them. This is your critical thinking, higher level skill right there. And then the last one is just questions. They have to come up with some questions that they had while they were reading. And they have to write then a written conversation. So after they meet at their book club, then they have to write what they liked, what went well, what didn't go well, what they learned that they didn't know, and what do they still want to know. I think I have a book club to show you.
How long have you been doing this?
The book club? When did we start this? How many years have we done this now?
Well, right when we started the middle school, so it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
The reason I ask that is because what kind of data? I mean, do you know what this is doing to the kids' reading? Is it making a big difference? I mean, I think this would be a wonderful program.
The book clubs, we don't have anything that directly relates data-wise to the book clubs. We do have, like she talked about, the Skills Iowa does a lot of the tracking. We know those kids pretty well. By the time we get information from the 4th grade teachers on students coming into 5th grade, where their reading level is at, whether they've had interventions in the past. So a lot of those kids we start right away because we know where their reading level is, and we track that along the way. We're giving them interventions, and hopefully we can bump them out. We can get them to a point where we can bump them out. A lot of times that's not the case. A lot of times that intervention is keeping them just above where they need to be, but they need that constant intervention to keep them moving along. So.
And the nice part is, I do have them in 7th grade and 8th grade. So, I mean, I've had a year with them by the time we're doing the book clubs. It's just a routine. And by 8th grade, the class really does kind of run itself. I know Denny's come in a lot, and I'm just kind of walking around listening because they're basically doing it.
You have a video of this?
Yep. I can get this to play, we're good to go.
It's still moving up.
Let's hope so. Here we go. Woo. And you'll see my room is set up as tables. I don't have any desks. It's all tables. And in front of them is that assignment sheet that I just explained. Can you see those laying there?
I was glad that she decided to help the cat put away because if she would have left them, it would have turned out being a total mess. Then they would have wanted her to back. This page stuck out to me because it's from she would have gone on the rejection. Yeah, I'm not going to help her over. The one that said, that he's no bigger than a cookie, like a family like that. And that is bad. I read kind of funny that then she needed cookie. Yeah, it was. It's not like her hat is really fat, but her hat is. I did
Yeah, pretty roughly. And there is no leader in the group. They all have to do all of the assignments. There isn't one that directly leads the group.
Shocked that she was about to lead the kid. Like, I was just wondering if she even gave one thought about the dog training.
I noticed no one answered these questions. As far as grading, I guess a lot of parents want to know how I grade the book club. The assignments, the written assignment itself is worth 20 points every week, and participation within their group is worth 10 points every week. Do you have those that don't participate? What? Do you have those that don't participate? They all will do their share, but what I'm looking for is the conversation part of it. I've never had anyone just sit there and do nothing.
How do you monitor all the tables at one time? You just kind of move around?
And sometimes they get so into what they're talking about that I have to bring it down because There are arguments, but they aren't fights. You know, there's disagreements, but
The conversations, when I've been in there and sat in on the group, they're rich conversations where they really get in deep about, okay, what is the character thinking when that's going on, and it's really interesting to sit in and listen to the kids talk about what they think's going on in a piece of literature.
and we don't have to watch all this, but you can tell in that first clip it was really, really noisy. It's because they were all having them at once, but I wanted you to see an idea of what the actual conversation is. So then we took all the other groups out and made these guys do it again. This one stayed, kind of.
When I look at this and compare it with the reading program that I experienced, and I would say that most of the people in this room would be in the same position, we weren't involved in nearly as much critical thinking as these people are.
It was hard to get going. There's no doubt about that. And you know, like I said, I remember saying to Denny at the beginning of the year, I just feel like I'm spending the whole first quarter just teaching them how to do it. You know, I had to get that part through my head. And the other hard part for me, honestly, was letting them take charge. But I think we're getting it figured out.
I would think that'd be a good thing. It would give them a sense of ownership. They would want to do it.
And there's a lot of responsibility involved, you know, because they have Tuesday, Wednesday in class to work and get it done. So it's expected to be done. There's really no, oh, I'll give you an extra day. If it's not done, they just don't get their points for it.
So you think this is really good for the kids?
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get at before about data.
Yeah, I really, really do. I really do. And I can tell in my 8th grade that the strategies we taught them in the 7th grade are working. That they're able to, in 8th grade, apply it.
Is there anything you could use to make your work better with
Books.
this?
I don't have enough books.
You don't have enough books.
No.
No,
I don't have enough books.
What do you mean? What kind of books do you want? Great American Classic? What do you need? You need actual books for them to
I
read.
need books. Lana Pitstick is a godsend because when I find a book we want, and there's not, okay, this right here is a class of 28 kids. I don't have 28 copies of anything. Nothing. I don't have 28 copies of a single book.
Bonnie, would Kindles work?
Would Kindles work? God, yeah.
Well, you could download 3,500 books onto a Kindle. Can you imagine if you had spent $139 for a Kindle?
And the books are cheap, on the Kindle. Yeah.
some of them are free.
Right. I mean, definitely, yes. It is a struggle. Getting my hands on the books is a nightmare. I'm not going to lie.
The only thing I'd say about the Kindles is, in talking with some other administrators around, with the Kindle, it's, I think more schools, let me just say it this way, are going to e-books, because it can be downloaded to the computer, it can be downloaded to his computer, it can be downloaded to that computer. I'm hearing that from a lot of area administrators.
In a perfect world, if we ever went one-to-one, the e-books would be awesome, because then they just have them right on their laptop.
And Lana has started that.
You're just using Kindle as the, it's,
Yeah, something,
yeah.
electronic would really be nice.
it's just a brand.
Well, if we can't go one-to-one, then, would that help you get the books?
Anything would help. We did purchase some iPods, and we download whatever books we do. We download onto the iPods for the kids that, it's not necessarily that you're a poor reader, but maybe you're a slower reader, and to get your weekly assignment done is a struggle. I have a lot of kids who listen to it as they read on the iPod. But that's where we're at with that right now. So yeah, if you want to buy me some books, that'd be really awesome.
Maybe you should price the book, then price the Kindles and see what it would take to download some books onto them and what the difference in cost is.
We will.
Then you'll do that for me.
Can you say you've been turned down a lot?
Yeah, I've been turned down a lot, as always, but it's okay. Any questions? I feel like I took too much time. Any questions?
Thank you.